The video you are about to see was filmed on the day that I received these two beautiful ladies from Orchid Web. However, due to technical difficulties, I was unable to get it to download. It did finally download, and so I am now posting this video. So some of the comments in the video are going to be a little weird because I am talking about my weekend plans, which happened last weekend. So moving on, if you enjoy the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and leave your comments down below, and let's look and see what's going on. Welcome to the end of the day. I'm going to go ahead and repot the beauties that I got this morning from Orchid Web. But before I start that, I wanted to show you two beauties I picked up earlier at my local Lowe's. Look at this beauty. Look at all the blooms on here. I counted earlier, there are 23 blooms on here, 2 spikes, and she's got a branch on both spikes. Is she not just gorgeous? Let me hold her still here. Look at this. Oh my goodness. And she is labeled as DTPS Lucky Sun, but when I looked that up online, it came back as Sun Yin or Shan Yin Lucky Sun Phalaenopsis, which DTPS have now been reclassified as Phalaenopsis. Set her back here. And then the other one is this gorgeous thing here. Let's see if I can get her into focus. Let's see. Look at this. Oh, she not pretty. Look at that yellow with that splotch on there and then that white lip. I told you guys I'm all about the lip. Look how that lip looks. Is that just not gorgeous? Now she's labeled, kind of weird. She's labeled as DOTS, so dots, black spot. So try to Google that and nothing came up. So this might be a trade name. I don't know what nursery Lowe's got these from. So if anybody's ever heard of the DOTS, can you let me know what that stands for? I couldn't find it anywhere. Or if you know what this particular orchid is right here, that would be appreciated as well. But let's get on with our beauties from this morning because these girls are in their CalMag seaweed soak to strengthen them, and they both came with great root systems too. So let's do the little one first. So I've had them soaking all day, again in a CalMag seaweed mix, and this is kind of what I've done with the blooms. I've clipped them together just so I don't knock them around. I'm going to go ahead and move it down just a smidge. There we go. All right, take her out. So this is the Phalaenopsis deliciosa, Kingidium decumbens. So apparently Kingidium, I did a little research, was a class all by itself, and then it just got thrown into the Phalaenopsis group. So that's why she's now labeled as a Phalaenopsis deliciosa. But let's just look at her blooms again. And again, I will post a picture of these gorgeous things. I mean, it is so hard to see them on this camera because they're just so tiny and delicate. They're so precious, so very precious. Now, I said I was going to leave this leaf on here, and I'm going to leave this leaf. And I'm definitely leaving this one because it's close to that new root that is starting to grow out. So I'm putting them in a moss and perlite mix. But first, we are going to clean up her roots. And these have been sterilized and been airing out while I was running my mouth. And I have a little bowl of water here that I'm just going to rinse the roots in once I spray her with some hydrogen peroxide to seal off any wounds I make from the cuts or any bugaroos that might be on here, which I didn't see any when I took the moss off this morning, and I haven't seen any floating in the cup that she was in, but one can never be too careful. Because when you're in a nursery, these ladies are exposed to a lot of different things, and even though they may not be prone to certain bugs, if they are near them, the bugs might be like, oh, let me go try something new. And I don't want those bugs, if there are any, to try anything on any of my orchids. So we're just going to spray that. And I forgot my cotton ball. Be right back. Fortunately, they were literally right behind me. So let me wipe her leaves down. I haven't done that part yet. And again, doing a little bit more research on her. She prefers high humidity, so her little setup, I am going to kind of do the same thing as I'm doing with my, oh, what did I get? My Monachica, Renanthera Monachica. The pot I'm going to put her in, I'm going to keep water at the bottom, and I've got rocks in there already, so I'm going to put the water at the bottom to kind of keep the humidity a little bit higher around her. And I don't see any new leaf growth on her either. She does have that new root tip coming out, so that is what we will do with her. Let me just set her right there for a second. And then we have our, let's see if I can say it correctly this time, Phalaenopsis cornucervi variation Chatelaidea. Let's see if we can get that to focus in there. All right. So we're going to get her out, and she, again, doing a little bit more research on her. She is a massive root producer. So the pot I'm going to put her in, she's going to look kind of ridiculous in it for a little bit because it is wide. It's not deep, but it is wide. It's a 7.5-inch pot that does have holes in it, and then I'm also putting her in a decorative pot that has holes in it. This way that moss doesn't stay wet too long. And I do have a break right here. I'm sorry if you guys hear me sniffling a little bit. My allergies are really acting up today. That little break right there, normally I would just leave it just because of all the branching, but I kind of want to cut it because it is kind of black, because she does have all of these other roots that are going to just take care of her, and she's not going to lose out too much. So I'm going to cut it up to the first break that is right here. And then this way, this root will be encouraged to extend. And then she's got the two big juicy ones here. And then I found where the one had broken when I took that moss off and that piece fell off. It came off from right here. No harm, no foul. I have another one that has a break in it that I'm just going to go ahead and cut right here. All right, and we will spray her down, and then I will clean her leaves. And then we will get our Deliciosa in her pot. I hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful Friday. You guys will see this on Saturday, Friday. I hope you guys had a good day. I know my day went well. Planning to go to the Renaissance Fair that is currently going on here in Colorado. It's about an hour up the road. We're going to be doing that on Sunday. It's a family, so it's not just going to be me and my husband and my daughter. It's going to be a bunch of family members and friends who are like family. We're all going to caravan up there and see what we can get into. I just have a bowl right here that I'm just going to kind of rinse them off in. The moss they came in was not that bad. It wasn't going over. It was actually really still real fresh. So I'm not too worried if some of the moss stays on here from earlier. We'll let that one fizz a little bit more while I mix up my moss mix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them both in moss and perlite. So let me put this bowl so you can kind of see how I do that. So what I'm going to do, take some of this moss here, and then I just like to loosen it up and take out, there's a few little pieces like this, I'll take those out. Or if there's just some clumps that aren't nice and airy, I'll take those out as well. Otherwise, I just loosen it so it's nice and fluffy. And this moss here just smells awesome. Smells awesome. That other moss, again, I know I keep going on about it, but the quality of it, like, it just didn't even, it even stank. Like, it just, ugh. But this moss here just smells fresh. And that is the last I'm going to say about the moss, I promise. And I just realized something. Usually I would restart, but I've already done all of this other stuff. I have my mic on the table, so let me put it on. All right, that should be a little bit better. Sorry if you guys heard some scraping and some scratching, but I just realized I had it on the table, and I'm just gonna leave that in there because, like I said, I'm not gonna redo. I'm just gonna go with this. Sometimes we make mistakes, and it's okay to show those mistakes, right? Because no one is perfect. So I did a count today on my Phalaenopsis, and I think I counted 53, 54, and with these two new additions, that's going to put me at about 56. Somebody has a problem, but it's a good problem to have. I just love my phals. I know I said before, a lot of people just call them common because they're found everywhere. But you know, there might be areas in the world where Phalaenopsis are not as common as they are here in the United States or more populated places in Europe. And I was watching Nina on Ninja's Orchid, her video on the Miltonia sunset, and those are like Phalaenopsis are here in the United States in her area, whereas where I am, I can't find it in my local shops. I have to literally order it online, and I'm trying to find a decent sized one at a decent price. So if anybody has a link or a seller that has one blooming size at a decent price, if you could just leave that in the comments down below so I can go check it out, that'd be awesome. All right, let me just take that little piece off. So what I do is I just pour the perlite on top of the moss, and then I just kind of keep fluffing it around. And I like to have the moss a little bit wetter when I'm using perlite, just so that it sticks to the moss, because I used to just use it kind of damp, not wet, and it would just all sink to the bottom. And then I would just have perlite at the bottom and very little perlite mixed in. So now I make my moss a little bit wetter, where you can squeeze just a little bit of water out of it. And let me show you real quick. Like you can squeeze just a little bit of water out of that to have it stick to the moss. So we're gonna take little lady here. So I'm gonna take this clip off now, because with me moving the orchid around now, it's sliding and it's already caught on. Nope, that was my finger on there. I thought it had caught on the bloom. So now let's put a little bit at the bottom. All right, and as you can see, like, she has a gorgeous root system. And this is what I was talking about this morning, as far as her roots are a little more delicate, where, see, they're kind of in between Phalaenopsis and Oncidium roots. Like, I do have one nice juicy one here, so I don't know if, because she was kind of root bound, that maybe that's why these are smaller, but I've never experienced that. I'm just going to go with the flow here. And you know what? We're gonna cut this one off right here, because it is dead right there at the top, and she has plenty to go on. As always, I try to spread my roots so that I can kind of see them on the sides, and this helps me determine kind of how the orchid is doing, because if I can watch the roots on the outside, if they start desiccating really bad, then there might be a problem inside the pot. Otherwise, we just go, and then again, just make sure we put it in between, and she was in moss, so this repot should not set her back too much. And she should actually just take off, just because it is fresh moss. And she did have a nice bath in her calcium and magnesium and a little bit of seaweed. She should be nice and relaxed and ready to just grow and grow and grow for me and continue producing lovely blooms. And I cannot get over how delicate these little blooms are, and the stems, they're just so tiny. And I'm gonna leave it hanging like that. I'm gonna let them lay natural. I don't really like staking my orchid flowers if I can help it. When I buy them from the store and I repot them, most of the time I will stake them back up, just because otherwise they just lay funny. Once they bloom in my home, I like leaving them pendant if I can. So sometimes I do have to stake them just because of where they are. But if I can leave it pendant, oh, you best believe it's staying pendant, because to me that just looks so much prettier and more natural. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking my tag, and there was a little bit of an air pocket, and I just take and I'll just gently push down on the moss to fill in those air pockets. Phalaenopsis do like a lot of air around their roots, and they don't mind air pockets. That one was a pretty big gap, so I just filled that in. That's just another little trick you can use. And if I didn't have that, sometimes I'll use a bamboo skewer as well, but if I already have the tag, then I will just use that as well. Another little trick, guys, is we all clean our orchids when we get them, but sometimes we forget about the tags, and we'll just put that same tag back in after taking it out of the pot that our orchid or even plant came in. Clean that as well. I always wipe it down with some alcohol, just to make sure that there's no pathogens on the tag either. All right, there she is. And then I'm gonna show you guys the final product here in a minute. And I've already put today's date on there as far as when I received her, and since I'm potting her up on the same day, then I will know that I received her on the same day and potted her on the same day. Now for Miss Big Girl here. And you don't have to rinse after hydrogen peroxide. Some people do, because once the O2 evaporates and does its thing, you're kind of left with H2, which is water. So it does just leave water on there. I'm just rinsing it off just because I didn't rinse them off before I put them in their mix. I just want to get as much excess off as I can. And it looks like we are going to have to make a little bit more mix, because the pot I'm going to use, that would not be enough. Just sprinkle, almost like you're seasoning, until it looks good. Like I said before, I don't measure my mixes, so I can't tell you, 30% of this or 20% of that. I just kind of do it until it looks good to me, and I think, oh, that's enough of that. So, and that's kind of how I cook. I just kind of, oh, that looks good, and then obviously when you cook, you also taste it, and oh, that tastes good, or oh, that just needs a little bit more. And that's kind of how I do my media. Just kind of do it until it looks good, and then if I feel like it needs a little bit more, if it doesn't look like it has enough perlite in it or charcoal or whatever, then I'll just add some more. I'm not putting charcoal in here simply because I did not wash it earlier, and I like to wash my perlite, wash the charcoal. And this is the pot I was telling you guys I'm going to use for my chatelaine. I know it looks really big, but look at this. I believe she is going to be just fine in here. These roots are going to take over this pot, I'm sure, quite quickly. From what I've read, she is a vigorous root producer, and she does like a little bit lower light than the other summer phals. So I'm not putting her on the grow shelf. I'm going to put her on my plant stand that sits right next to my east-facing window. And then this way she will get light, but not bright light. They like indirect, kind of almost shade light. So let's see, do we have roots showing on the outside? We do, and we'll put her kind of in the center. Cover up my little air cone a little bit because I don't want the roots going through it quite yet. Eventually, I know it will, but right now I need her to not. And then because this pot is a little bit deeper, I am going to make sure that there are no air pockets as I'm going, instead of waiting until the end. So I will fast forward, and then once I am done putting her in her pot, we will come back. Okay, so we are done, but let me show you something. Lost another root, and that's my fault. I wasn't paying attention, and I was pressing around, and then I heard the snap, and I was like, ugh. But that's okay, she's got enough roots to sustain her. And I am gonna put some bark on top again, just to keep the algae from building up on top here. So here is our Phalaenopsis cornicervi variation chatelaine. And she is going to go in this pot here. And like I said, it's an airy pot. I do have rocks at the bottom just so the pot can kind of sit up. And let me just bring this up a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. So isn't she pretty? She's just pretty. And then this one, our Deliciosa, is going to be in this pot here. And I do have quite a few aquarium rock, just the white aquarium rock. And what I will do is I will make sure to keep this reservoir down here filled with water, so that the evaporation builds up around her, and like I say, kind of create another mini climate around her to help encourage that humidity. So these are they. Actually, I should probably do her this way, because she'll probably lay that way. I don't know, I'll have to wait and see how she starts growing. Thank you for joining me, and again, thank you to all of you who have subscribed and helped me reach this first milestone. Next milestone will be 500 subscribers, so we all need to start thinking about what I need to purchase for that. Has to be kind of something good, right? Everyone start thinking about that. Obviously, we have plenty of time. And with that, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and we will see you guys on the next one.